Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Dwayne, the flyest nerd you know, and this is the Movie Dungeon. And today we're going over House of Dragons Season 3, Episode 4. So let's get right on into it. So we'll start off, you know how I always do. Love the intro. The tapestry on it is always changing. I love that. You know, it always kind of set up the context of what's going to happen during the episode. And you gotta love that. So we'll start right on off. Ormond is a very angry dude, right? But he's very smart. He put his own people at Tumbleton, knowing that Rhaenyra won't burn down the people of Tumbleton because they have Bethany. Showing his cunning, his sadistic kind of ways, savagery. I want to see him and Daemon go up at it again. They gotta do it. But let's keep it moving along. They're setting up the dragon scenes pretty well for their big what the F moment. Uff keeps getting put down every time. You know, he even tries to help the people out in the taverns and stuff like that, and she's like, nah, you can't go no more, now you royalty. But at the same time, he can't get nothing besides being a knight. You know, the dragon chose him, so she's saying, oh, now you're a dragon rider and you're a knight. You know, and to him it's like, well, that's it. That's it. That ain't enough. That ain't enough. Yeah, I'm about to. You want me to lay my life down, change my whole life up, and you can't give me a kingdom? I understand we do it, but you could do anything, right? I know any like lords and all this. You can do anything, lady. You know, do something, cause he ain't happy. But moving right along, Rhaenyra is building her small council and appoints Orwell, I hope I said that right, as her Grand Maester. Now, I don't really trust him, right? I feel like he's too close to Aegon. I feel like he really helped Aegon, especially when Aegon was burnt. He was always by Aegon's side, you know. And the fact that Aemon and Daemon Demner took his head off at two separate periods of times makes me feel like he's going to favor not blacks, not the greens, but Aegon himself. And that might actually be dangerous in my opinion. So let's just hope, you know, let's just hope he sticks to his words and stick with Rhaenyra. But speaking of Aegon, I'm loving what the show is doing with him right now. You know, from this little brat to this spoiled, irresponsible, self-titled character. Now he's getting treated like shit. He literally has to kiss a shoe with shit on it. Like, you can't get even more shittier than that, right? I love that we saw Sunfire. I'm glad that Aegon saw Sunfire. You know, even though I don't really like Aegon, but I love Sunfire. Sunfire does lie there lifeless, but I don't think homeboy's dead. He's more like in a dragon coma, you know, healing up, you know, absorbing the sun or whatever the hell dragons do. But he's chilling. He has to be. But he does take a little piece of scale from him, and we'll talk about that more in the predictions, huh? Moving on, Daemon sees his daughter, right? And she's stealer. His face, he's like, when he saw her. And boy, might I add, crackhead vibes from his daughter. The show know what they doing, boy. She look like a crackhead, boy. But nah, he tries to protect her by saying, you know, flee, go back to where I said you were supposed to go, leave the dragon. She's like, nah, I'm more now, I'm powerful. Now I'm noticed, you know, and I'm noticed by you, you know, especially you, you know. And Daemon was always that person that kind of did put her to the side, and she felt it. We all saw it. So now she's powerful, and now she has somebody to have her back, which is sheep stealer, and she's not gonna give up on him, just like he didn't give up on her. Something chose her, unlike everybody else in her family, so she's definitely not letting him up. But Daemon does love her by seeing a random sheep handler and beheading them. He's beheading them. Oh snap! Why did I fall? Anyway, and beheading them. It was the funniest thing. He said, like, that would do. And just gets right to it, because, you know, he still wants to protect Rhaenyra's heart and protect his child. But we'll see how long that lasts, you know. Rhaenyra typically finds out shit, but she finds out late in the most worst time when she's already pissed off. So we'll see. But moving on, Allison, I think that's how you say it. I don't give a shit. She learns that Helena is pregnant with Maelor. Happy they're finally doing Maelor on the show. Changing it from the book. You know, I'm okay with this adaptation. I really am. This is really not going to be good for Rhaenyra at all, because the Greens having more heirs about to drive her up the wall. She's already dealing with Darren, you know, dealing with Ormond, dealing with Aegon, because she technically knows that he's alive. And I know she knows. And then she got Aemon, you know. And she sometimes has to worry about, I know she still thinks about Daemon if he might betray her. So she's all over the place with all that. So we'll see how that goes. But towards the end of the episode, wrapping it up, just how I opened up with Ormond, ends with him. He's threatening their you know, just like Otto Hightower used to threaten Alicent. They used to treat Alicent too. They're both kind of treating these people the same way, Alicent and Darren the same way, by pushing them closer to the throne so they can be closer to the throne. Conniving motherfuckers. Yeah, but that's all they care about. And they will use their own. They're no worse than fucking Targaryens. You know what I mean? They're no worse. But they say that Targaryens, well, he says Targaryens stole everything from them. So, you know, he has a little vendetta. You know, he hates them so much he even hates their dragons. You know, he tells Tyrion to, like, listen, this is a fucking object, bro. It's a weapon. Stop fucking hugging that shit, kissing it like it's your friend and little dog, and fuck that. That's an object. You know, and then he even makes Darren kill somebody, like crossing that threshold, and then bows to him, like showing that he has all the power. Like, he's boosting his ego, building his ego, because really Darren is really so nice. But that's really my synopsis of this episode, my review. We're about to get into predictions, so if you don't want to get spoiled or anything like that, thank you for watching the Movie Dungeon. I am your host, the flyest nerd you know, Dwayne. But let's get into predictions. Let's go. So starting off, I want to say is Aegon, he gonna get tired of them people talking shit. Them people that he's with, he gonna get tired. He might say something that actually might get him killed, like in that moment about to get his slicer. And I think Sunfire's gonna pop up. He's gonna turn, because we saw that shot in the trailer. He's gonna turn, and then boom, Sunfire's gonna come down. I don't think Sunfire's gonna be flight, but he's gonna like jump and like kind of glide, and then like, you know, and then fall again, which I'm okay with. You know what I mean? The dragon breath is all that matters. The dragon fire is all that matters. But what I don't want is from that little scale that he has. If he gets stabbed and it stabs the fucking shit scale, and be like, oh look, Sunfire still saved him even when he's gone. His presence still. I don't want that shit. The fuck up out of here. Give us Sunfire. That's all we care about. My next and final prediction. I think Aemon is Helena's baby daddy. I think that's her baby daddy. And, you know, Alicent finding that out, and she's going to put two together. She's going to know, and has to protect Helena at all costs, right? But if Aemon finds out, he's going to use that as, you know, leverage. And if Aegon finds out, he's going to be pissed. And then there's going to be more brotherly war. And I feel like if that happens, that, you know, her being in the middle of that might actually cause Helena to go insane and drive her cuckoo, even more cuckoo. If you know the books, she's cuckoo. She does some shit to herself and does some things. And, you know, I don't know if the show's going to do it. I can see the show having it if Aegon ever finds out, Aegon killing her, just torturing her, you know, and just fuck you in that, you know, and my brother's little weird thing you guys had, that's not my kid. What about my other kids? My kids, if they're not, yeah, he's finna torture if it happens. But anyway, this is my episode. This is my review of House of Dragons. Thank you for watching. My name is Dwayne yet again. Peace.